Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about massive changes that are coming to Dungeons & Dragons in 2022 and 2023 and 2024, and we're going to talk about the D&D community and how it's really now splitting into two communities, the D&D analog community and the D&D digital community, and how there are values in both. D&D analog is a lot more important, D&D digital is less important, but it has its role, and there is absolute value in the D&D digital community. Let's play it through. All right, okay, so we are going to see huge changes in Dungeons & Dragons, in my opinion. That's my prediction in 2022, 2023, and 2024. And the reason why is new leadership. All right, so there is quite literally new leadership in Hasbro. The new Hasbro leader came straight from Wizards of the Coast, which one of their two major products is Dungeons and Dragons. Chris Cox. And then there's a brand new Wizards of the Coast leader, Cynthia Williams. So Wizards of the Coast honored Gary Gygax by saying, "We see you, Gary Gygax. We know that you made sure that TSR had the first that, you said with your actions, we see you, Gary Gygax, you said with your actions, the future is female. You made sure that TSR had a female CEO to carry Dungeons & Dragons between 1986 and 1997 to build value and sell and hand it over to Wizards of the Coast, who had millions of dollars overflowing from their Magic the Gathering windfall. And it was perfectly timed because the reality was, Lorraine Williams had done a tremendous job of making sure that the value within Dungeons & Dragons was constantly raised, right? And then when a company came along that saw the value of Dungeons & Dragons and had the money to buy it, right, she made sure it was put into the hands of the best company to carry it forward, Wizards of the Coast. And here we are, Lorraine Williams' direction, established in 1986, carried through to 1997, and here we are almost 5 decades later with one of the biggest intellectual properties in the world. And a tabletop role-playing game that crushes not any other tabletop role-playing game, but the entire industry it competes with. Right, like the only debate, there's never a debate on whether Dungeons & Dragons is defeating a specific game. There's only a debate on whether it's actually defeating the entire industry it competes with, all other games combined. Right, like and Lorraine Williams made sure we would have 5 decades of stability, and Lorraine Williams was in position to do that because Gary Gygax put her there. Right? Like, he made certain Lorraine Williams was perfectly aligned, perfectly positioned, and everything that needed to happen to make her CEO happened. That's a fact. That's history. You'll find that's not debatable, right? Like it's there. Okay. All right. So now Cynthia Williams has Wizards of the Coast say, we honor Gary Gygax by putting in the second female CEO to lead Dungeons & Dragons. This is the second time it's happened, right? Hasbro's making that choice is an honoring of Gary Gygax's original direction for the company, for Dungeons & Dragons as a product, right? Okay, so let's go to the next part. So what happens then, right? So we are going to see huge change, my prediction, in 2022, 2023, 2024, because there's completely new leadership over Dungeons & Dragons, okay? Everybody who was in charge of it before is gone, and there are new leaders there, okay? All right, one of them is still there and at a much higher level, and will be worrying about things far beyond Dungeons & Dragons. He has to worry about the fate of all of Hasbro, right? So what's happening is the first changes has already been announced, right? There's going to be a massive digital future for Dungeons & Dragons. That's frightening. That is frightening, right? There's fear attached to that, right? I do not like hearing that, right? And the reason why is I am D&D. So there are now two communities for Dungeons & Dragons. There's Dungeons & Dragons Analog, and there's Dungeons & Dragons Digital community. The Dungeons & Dragons Analog community and the Dungeons & Dragons Digital community, in my humble opinion. What's the Dungeons & Dragons Analog community? It's the people who play Gygaxian Dungeons & Dragons. They buy Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition in its hardback printed version. They sit down at a table and they play with their friends. That's Dungeons & Dragons Gygaxian. That is Gygaxian Dungeons & Dragons today, right? If you are honoring if you're honoring Gary Gygax, you buy the current version of Dungeons & Dragons, his legacy, off the shelves at your FLGS. You sit down physically with your physical friends and you play the game at the table, right? That is the purest, best, most awesome version of Dungeons & Dragons, okay? What is the worst version of Dungeons & Dragons? Well, it's Dungeons & Dragons idle game. It's a mobile app, right? And I'll tell you right now, there's a possibility more people play the Dungeons & Dragons idle game, right, which is a mobile app game, but they are Dungeons & Dragons digital community. They have characters, right? They have a half-orc barbarian. There you go, right? Now, it's, and that's a D&D digital community member, right? So how do things split out? Here we go. D&D analog. We provide the energy and the direction for Dungeons & Dragons, okay? The company owns the product, right? Where's the product going to go? They don't really know. And the reason why is they want our opinion to tell them, and we do. We tell them with surveys every 3 months. We tell them with our dollars every 3 months. I have bought every single copy of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition new book from the last 2 years, right? And I'll continue to do that. I vote with my dollars, right? And so I give energy and direction to Dungeons & Dragons, okay? What does the digital community give? They give something very, very important, all right? And what it is they give money, okay? So there is absolutely money attached to these digital products, quite a bit actually. There may actually be even more money attached to the digital product than there is to the physical product, okay? But there isn't going to be any energy or direction from the digital product because there can't be, right? There's queen and there's commoner, right? The mobile apps are a commoner space, right? Queens, nobility, they go get the real deal. They buy 1,000 pages of content a year and read it, right? They don't sit around, fumbling, icons on their mobile phone, right? Queen, commoner, right? Queens give energy and direction. They say where things are going, right? They make determination, right? Commoners see what happens, and that's what the digital is. Now, what else does the digital community give? They give 3 things. They give money, they give preservation, and they give quality tags, okay? What is preservation? You need money to survive, right? Companies need real hardcore dollars to make their products good and make it so that they do not go out of business, right? And this is one of the problems that the game had in the early years. Under Gary Gygax and under Lane Williams, they didn't have the money for preservation. That is going to come from the Dungeons & Dragons digital community. The last is quality tags. What's a quality tag, right? Well, here's a good example. Darrington Press, very, very cute. They made a nice, a tabletop role-playing game. Go check out Sly Flourish's coverage of it, and he'll tell you that he heard from multiple people and saw the same thing on his book, that when he bought the Tal'Dorei book, you know what happened? It bowed literally like an archery bow. It bent because it was printed in an area that had humidity, high humidity, and then it came to America where we have lower humidity, and the books literally bent like a rainbow, right? That's not quality, right? Go check out a 5e book, hardback book. You know what you're going to find? Quality tags. It's full color, every single page, right? It is flat as a board, right? It has amazing art, amazing layout, amazing design, and amazing writing. It's tremendous, and it has lots of quality tags. You know where quality tags come for the analog product? From the millions they make on the digital, right? The D&D analog community, in my humble opinion, will establish the energy and the direction of Dungeons & Dragons. The D&D digital community, which I will say I have less respect for the D&D digital community than I have for the analog community, right? Because I do think what they do is less important, but it is not unimportant. We need the money, legit, okay? We need the money, we need the preservation, and we need the quality tags. And quality tags come from money, right? You don't want to be like Darrington Press putting out books that bow like a rainbow, right? You want to put out quality books that have good art, good layout, good design, good rules, right? You don't want to look like like this is your first rodeo, right? Like you don't want to be in that position, right? Matthew Mercer's got 2 books. One of them looks like an actual tabletop role-playing game book. One boasts like a rainbow, right? Like, come on, like, so that's my point. Money, okay, preservation and quality tags are important, and we do need the digital community for that. Well, that's my opinion. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in the next 2-3 years from the new Wizards of the Coast leaders? And also, what do you think? Do you think that the D&D analog community and the D&D digital community are of equal value? I'd be curious. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.